friends, do you know who she is? She's Gloria Jean Watkins, better known as Bell Hooks. She's an American author, professor, feminist, and social activist. Here are some of her books. Here is a quote from one of her books that I'm reading. It's called All About Love. When we understand love as the will to nurture our own and another's spiritual growth, it becomes clear that we cannot claim to love if we are hurtful and abusive. It's a really good book. And did you notice that her name is not capitalized? She says it's because she'd rather have us focus on her message rather than her name. She was born in 1952 in Kentucky and grew up in a segregated town. She started writing her first book at the age of 19. She earned her bachelor's degree in English literature at Stanford University, got her master's degree at the University of Wisconsin, and a PhD at the University of California, Santa Cruz. She taught English and ethnic studies, African and Afro-American studies, women's studies, and other classes. In the 1980s, she started a support group for Black women called Sisters of the Yam. In her book, Feminist Theory from Margin to Center, she argues that it's important for us to recognize that social classifications like race, gender, sexual identity, and class are all interconnected. She says that ignoring their intersection creates oppression towards women and changes the experience of living as a woman in society. She also talks about the importance of male involvement in the movement towards equality, and that it's necessary for change to occur. You can find some videos of her on YouTube. From the research I did and the videos that I watched, you can tell that she's a true role model for all of us. She encouraged us to be honest and communicate with love and, in her own words, radical openness. I'm going to finish this with a little video clip.
Often white people will meet a Black person who completely challenges every racial stereotype that they've ever had. Rather than giving up the stereotype, they create a special category for that person and say, well, you're not like other Black people, or instead of saying, my ideas of Black people were too narrow or too... And I think that's the tragedy of any kind of prejudicial thinking, that when we confront the circumstance that tells us it's not so, we frequently don't enlarge our sense of things. We actually come up with new ways